I'm living like an only child, even though I got
Right.
siblings. So
Wow.
I'm dealing with the rejection of why my siblings don't like me.
Okay.
My dad is not explaining that to me.
Okay.
And so for me, I'm constantly trying to figure out what's wrong with me.
Right.
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 So did you go through that? What's wrong with me?
Yeah.
Like
Oh, I
taking the
asked.
blame of
Oh, yeah.
other people's failures in your life onto yourself. So now you grow up with this, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I think I went through that more in a relationship than my just by myself.
yeah.
It was more so like I'm in another relationship, I'm in another marriage.
Mm.
You know, what am I doing wrong? You know, and I even asked that this third go round, like, what in the hell's going on? And that's why I had to go to therapy. All these years I didn't go to therapy. I didn't do any of that. But this time I was like, nah. I gotta break down some stuff because no matter what has happened, no matter what he did, I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect either. You know what I'm saying? And I need to figure out why I continue to date the same person. I need to figure out why I continue to be in these situations that are not healthy. And I know that they're not healthy. And I can't make this a mistake no more. The definition of insanity is doing the same things and expecting a different result. And I'm not insane. And so I was like, I'm in the mental health field. I need therapy.
Yeah.
I ain't even talked about
That's good.
childhood. You know what I'm saying? We ain't even tackled childhood trauma. We just talking about this divorce, this one piece that I'm in right now.
How many change agents are out there need change themselves before they can truly help somebody else?
A lot. Everybody.
Do you know what is attracted to you?
Brokenness.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
do you know the ugliness that's attracted to you?
Yep.
It sticks to you like a magnet.
It do.
Any room you walk in,
Yep.
this thing finds you.
Yep. You like, how you even got the courage to even speak to me? But the dude that got himself together don't got the courage to speak to me. So it's weird. But you're right. It's the magnet.
It's the magnet.
Yep.
So now once I figure out, okay, what's attracted to me?
Right.
It takes time to learn that.
That's true.
Because it got to show up a bunch of times,
That's
and
true.
it's got to do what it's purposed to do.
Right. You got to recognize it.
So I was listening to something, and they said nurses were talking about how people in need are often attracted to them. Right.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because they're in a helping profession.
Right.
And a nurse kind of don't take that hat off. She
That's
stays
true.
or he stays with
Yep.
that hat on because they're kind of built a certain
that
way.
way. Yep.
Because you got to be in that type of setting, right?
Yep, exactly.
So it's like a cop. Like, you off duty, but if you see something break out,
Right.
most cops is gonna say, "No, I got to jump in."
They jump right in. Yeah.
I got to do. It's like the movie with the bank robbery.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
he on the floor, but he trying to get that gun
Right.
out
It's
because he
true, 'cause
know
it's your
he like, I
livelihood.
gotta do something.
Yeah.
And so you think that, like, my life has value because I'm helping.
Right.
But we cannot save people.
But we thought we could.
Man, we think we can save everybody, don't we?
I thought I could. Not no more.
Can I say this to all my parents who are listening? We cannot save our children.
Yeah.
We can make an impact in their life. We can inspire them.
Right.
We can be motivators, encouragers.
Right.
We can be game changers. But we cannot save them.
Can't. It's their walk.
Jeffrey Dahmer's mama could not save that boy from eating people. Even though she loved him and tried to do the best she could,
Right.
he still turned out to be a person eater. Okay.
true.
So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, my goal in my life right now is, how do I make the most impact I can with my kids?
Right.
Right.
I love it.
So I got to sacrifice some time.
Yep.
I can't be anywhere and everywhere and in
Yep.
all places at all times.
Right.
While we're recording this video, my kids are in the other room.
Exactly.
Right.
Shout out to the fathers out there. Okay. It's dope. I love
Okay.
it.
So I'm realizing, like, the only way for me to truly do this thing
Right.
is I'm going to have to put up with their attitude a little bit, because
Yeah.
they got to go with me.
Yep.
I can't leave them at home all the time,
Yep.
because they need to see me
Yep.
in different spaces.
They sure do.
Right. So I'm trying to make an impact,
Yep.
but I'm not trying to save them no more.
Right.
I really wish and pray that my kids got scholarships ready for them when it's time to go to college.
That's right, claim
But I
it.
don't know.
Yep. Claim it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm going to do everything in my power.
Yeah.
I don't know if they want to go to school. I
Right.
don't know if they want to,
Yep.
you know what I'm saying?
true. It's
We just try to do the best we can.
Exactly.
And so I'm done trying to save people. I'm just trying to make an impact now.
Exactly.
I'm just trying to make
Make your
a
mark.
authentic impact. And guess what?
Exactly.
The best way to make an impact is be true to myself.
Yep.
If
Everything
I'm
else is
better,
commonplace.
man, everything around me is going to be better.
Exactly.
Like, think about this. You come home, you had a bad day.
Right.
Your money ain't right.
Right. They
Who
feel
getting
it.
the brunt of it?
Exactly. Them kids.
The kids.
Yep. Or your spouse.
Or they just being what they've always been.
Right.
You
And
know
to you,
what I'm saying?
it's elevating it because of your stress.
So let me ask you this. Now that you are in a season, because I really am inspired by, it takes a lot to write a book when you have had that kind of trauma, right?
And we just touching the iceberg, okay?
Stage 4 trauma.
Yeah.
Right? Stage 4 trauma, for my
Yeah.
listeners who don't understand what that means,
Yes.
it's the same as soldiers coming home from war.
Yes.
Where bombs are going off in your head. Where you're ducking under your bed because you think you're being shelled at. Okay?
Yeah.
That's the type of trauma that we
Talking
experience from neglect
Exactly.
and abuse as kids.
Exactly.
And it takes years.
Yes. A
Damn,
lifetime.
sometimes
Your whole life.
your whole life
Yes.
is spent trying to medicate
Yep.
or sober from
Yep.
or move on from or
Right.
accept.
It's true.
Okay?
It's true.
The past
Right.
and what happened to you, but it's not you.
Right.
It's part of me, but it's
Right.
not me.
It don't define me.
Let me ask you this. As now an author, right? You have put your mark on, you've made, if anything is important to you, they always say put it in a book. Most people now, they want to write books to blow up.
True.
And I don't mind nobody blowing up from anything that they do, because if you put your heart and soul into something, I want you to get everything that's due to you.
It's a little different though.
But I believe everybody should write a book. Everybody should do a podcast. Everybody should do something that gets your story out, right?
That's true.
And nowadays we got all these different avenues to do it, right? We got social media.
Right.
We have the YouTubes. We have the different avenues, right? Whereas before it was just maybe one or two.
Right.
Unless you had a big deal with somebody, you was on Oprah or something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's true.
For you now, where do you find your strength in this season of your life? What is helping you? You talked about therapy, becoming an author. What are some of the things? Because this is for the listeners now who are trying to figure out how to get over that hump.
Right.
Because just like you said, I had this book, but it wasn't down on paper yet.
Right.
And somebody had to keep nudging. Then God allowed tragedy.
Right. Real tragedy, okay?
All right.
Whew.
Tragedy. Tragedy to come.
Yeah.
For you to realize it ain't no person in this universe that's going to heal you from what's happening to you internally.
Right.
So talk to me about where you are now. What is the next piece for you? Because I think our spirits agree that we're not comfortable. Right. We're always striving.
Yep.
We're always trying
want
to push forward, which sometimes can create unwanted trauma.
It's true.
Okay? Because you got to learn to be satisfied. Because I'm looking at you. I called you Goldilocks. I hope you didn't get offended by that. I always give people names.
No, you ain't bothered.
So it's from the heart. So if y'all offended, then just take it up with God. But I always give people nicknames because I am a person that I always try to make connections. Right. So I'm trying to find something to connect with you in a way that's like, I don't mean no harm.
Right.
But I need to remember you. I need to know you for something.
Exactly.
So you're looking successful.
Yeah.
You're building things. I know in your heart you're like, I ain't nowhere
done.
near where I want to be, right? So talk to me about where you now.
Man, it's true. I think you do. When you are coming from that type of trauma, you constantly seeking. So thank God for mentors. Thank God for people in my life that's like, you need to pause. You need to stop. You're doing too much. Chill. So in this space that I'm in, it's really about self-love. I travel by myself. I go on trips. I pour back into me.
You sound like my wife, but go ahead.
You got to. I'm telling you, man. I went years waiting for people. I went years waiting, and had a spouse that didn't even want to, do certain things. But that was holding me back. I didn't realize that was a part of my mental health. I needed that. I needed to get to the beach. I needed, whether that's it, Wilmington Beach or whatever.
Right, and we're in North Carolina.
Help me. Right.
One of the beauties of being in this state is 2 hours, and you add some water.
Exactly.
Which is very therapeutic.
It is. It definitely is for me. So I would say in this space that I'm in is about transformation. I constantly keep hearing him say rebirth. Like I'm going through a complete transition in my career. Yeah. From being private to now being in the public sector. I've been in business, but now I see a transition even with that. So I would definitely say he has me in a rebirth. A rebirth of loving myself, a rebirth in business, a rebirth in recreation, because who I was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I'm not now. The things that people used to be able to do to me, they can't do to me anymore. The friends that I had that I thought were my friends aren't my friends anymore. So my whole trajectory is different, and I'm grateful for that. And I'm glad to be in a space where I can recognize it. For so long, I've held on to people for tenure, fear, whatever it was. Now I don't care. You could have been my friend for 20 years. You could be my friend for that day. If my spirit and my energy telling me something different, then I'm listening to that. Because all the times that I ignored it, it was a stumbling block. It was somebody there. It was something that I wasn't supposed to be doing. It was something that I wasn't supposed to be, or a person I wasn't supposed to be with. And when I didn't listen, it took me longer to get to the space I was supposed to be at. Wow. So now it's all about just, God, is this where you want me to be? Is this who I'm supposed to be talking to? Am I supposed to be doing this interview? And the doors and when I step back and get out of my own way, he constantly is making the way clear. Yeah. And so this space is all about really listening and taking care of me, taking care of my heart. I went from relationship to relationship. I was always in a relationship, long-term relationships from 14 and up. So this is the first time in my life that I've been single, that I have poured back into me, that I could truly say I love me. And so that feels good because I don't have a care in the world because I don't have the control over it anyway. I think for a long time, I was running behind what I thought I was supposed to be doing. I need to be doing this business. I need to be doing this business. I need to be doing this, doing this. And God like, baby, you ain't got control. Clearly, you ain't got control because everything that you lined up has, you know what I'm saying, other than business, those things have fell away. But everything that he put me in front of has been blossoming. So in a 1 year span, I did the book in December of 2020. January, I hired a publicist. That publicist had me on ABC, NBC, Fox, and it ended the year being on Our Kind of People on Fox. So
word. Shout out to that.
Shout out to that. Shout out to being in rooms that you don't even understand why you're in rooms. That's God. That's when you know that's alignment. That's when you know what? It ain't about me. Doing the book wasn't about me. That's why I didn't want to do it. But God was like, nah, you got to do this book because it's not about you. Yeah. This is about everybody else that needs to know that they can survive. Yeah. And what's funny is my adopted mom said, what have you survived? And I'm like, wow, this is exactly why I'm to myself. So I realized also that a lot of the things that I went through made me who I am. I don't regret none of it. I'm more so like, wow, thank you, God. Thank you for not letting that kill me. Thank you for allowing me to have grace with myself and also let me have grace with other people because ain't nobody perfect. And everybody don't deal with things the same way. Sure. And everybody ain't going to get it either. So I had to realize that I had to forgive other people for me, not for them, and move forward. So that's the space I'm in. I'm in a transition, but a positive transition emotionally, mentally, spiritually. And I'm excited. I'm excited for whatever he has, whatever door I'm supposed to walk in. I truly know that it's because of him. Yeah. It ain't because of me. Yeah. A lot of the doors I walked to in the past was because of me. Wow. And that might not have been the right door I was supposed to go in. You talked about social work. All my girlfriends are social workers. About 3-4 years ago, no, it was longer than that. Maybe like 5 years ago, all of them were finishing their masters in social work. And I'm like, I got an MPA, but I'm in mental health. It makes sense for me to go back to school to get my master's in social work. Like, this makes sense to me. I started applying, and none of the doors was opening. And then I just kept applying, and then I ended up getting an interview with Central. And so I thought I did great with the interview. I'm like, everything makes sense. I should be in the program. I didn't get into the program. And it was maybe 6 months later, I had an epiphany. And I was like, you doing this for all the wrong reasons. You doing this because this is something that you think you're supposed to be doing. God didn't tell you to go get another master's in social work. Just because this is what makes sense doesn't mean this is what you're supposed to do. So I think at all times, we have to be in alignment. And you can't get in alignment unless you're in alignment with God. You got to ask God what's the next steps? Where am I supposed to be? Am I supposed to be in this room? Am I supposed to be in this program? But if we moving and we ain't never taking time to be quiet and listen, you moving in circles. You running in circles. And so I would say in these last 2 years, I have been quiet. I have been quiet. I have been in meditation. And I've just been manifesting. Like, God, if this is for me, then you know what? In 2022, I'm claiming financial freedom. I'm claiming to be debt free in 2022. Yeah. This is what you say I'm supposed to be. You said we have not because we ask not. Let's go. And I'm saying that I want to be financially free. And when I say financially free, I mean no debt, no student loans, no mortgage. Everything is paid off. That's what I'm asking for in 2022. And if you say that I can have that, then let's go. Yeah. So I'm just really trying to just be in alignment with what He wants for me, not what I want.
I'm impressed.
Yeah, man. God is so good.
I'm impressed, and I'm proud of your story.
Thank you.
I'm proud of the fact that you allowed yourself to walk that difficult line.
Yeah. It's a struggle every day. And I tell people this. I'm like, I survive, you can too, but I'm still surviving. With tears in my eyes, I still learn every day. You know what I'm saying? Every day I'm learning something from something I say. I'm learning more about myself with this book than I ever thought I would learn. You know what I'm saying? So I think that people think that now I did the book, it's one all be all. You need to open up your life to the world. And it's like, no, this is a piece of my life.
Piece of your life.
Truth be told. All my life is not in this book. This is just some things. I have been through things that I don't even want to talk about. I have seen things that I don't even want to talk about. So the things that I felt that I could get out is what's in the book. And let's be clear, I protected a lot of people still, but that wasn't what my intentions were. My intentions were never to do a book for money or for or to be like a tell-all. Because I think people in the beginning, especially people from college and people that know me, that don't know me, but they think they know me, they thought that this was like a tell-all book until they opened the book.
Wow.
And then it was like, well, damn, I didn't even know she went through this. So it was the impact and the response blew my mind. Like, I was not prepared. I thought I was going to do a book and continue on with my life running business. Yeah. And my whole life changed in a year. So, wow. Yeah, here we are.
Well, as we wrap up,
yes.
This has been great, and I need to get you back on to talk more about what you're doing. I would love to keep you as in rotation.
Let's go.
So that people continue to hear the message, because I think that you can't do everything in one interview. Right. And maybe we get to some more specific topics, particularly about mental health therapy and how those pieces work in our communities, and what we really have needed for decades.
Right. Exactly.
How many people could be in a better place?
Right.
I mean, my uncle and my cousin was fighting over macaroni and cheese back in 1999.
Exactly.
And he pulled a gun on her,
wow.
over some macaroni and cheese.
Wow.
It wasn't really the macaroni and cheese.
Right.
It was all of that built up whatever that could have got dealt with in a different way. Yeah. And we passed that trauma down.
Yep.
And so I'm so proud of you and what you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is about making sure that I'm doing my part to make sure that the stories like yours and others. I didn't know that the foster care piece was going to be. I knew when I saw it, I was like, she's. I got to figure out a way to connect with her, because I see it. I see you see people moving. You see people like you came in. You had your marketing materials.
Yeah, let's go. I'm like, let's go.
And I'm in the same season too of getting quiet so that God can speak to me.
Got to.
This podcast, this YouTube thing. I'm great in front of a crowd. I am not so good digitally. Okay.
Yes, he is. Y'all don't believe that.
So I'm still figuring out how to do this digital thing,
Right.
but I'm gonna have some fun with this.
Exactly. That's what it's about.
Because I know that this is a part of the journey for me. So
Yes.
I was happy when I was. You're my first podcast.
Oh, wow.
Here, right?
Listen, we need to normalize. Let's normalize black men in this space. Let's normalize, African Americans really breaking down barriers, speaking about trauma, speaking about childhood. You don't see black men doing this, so let's normalize and let's appreciate the fact that you are a black man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Raising your children.
Yeah.
Beating the odds. Married for over a decade.
Yeah.
Like, it speaks volumes. People need to see you. They need to hear you.
Appreciate
They need
that.
to feel you. So don't stop.
Yeah.
I don't care if you have 10 listeners or 1.
Yeah, no
okay?
doubt.
Saying to a person that's been on YouTube for 1 year, okay?
Yeah.
And I'm happy with my little 100 and some followers. So
Yeah, no doubt.
It's a work in progress because I did not want to get into the camera. Thank God. And
Yep.
shout out to Tamika Nishalay, my homegirl, for pushing me and saying, nah, you getting in front of this camera. You're going to do this YouTube.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I did this book thinking that that was it.
Yeah.
And everything in a year has turned my whole world upside down in a positive way.
Wow.
So don't limit yourself.
No doubt.
Because
No doubt. No
in
limits.
1 year you could be here.
Yeah.
And in 1 year you could be in DC.
Yeah.
Running your own podcast for a whole big corporation. So
Yeah.
listen. It's life and death in the power of the tongue.
No doubt.
So speak life into it, and I'm speaking life into this program. I appreciate you for having me.
Yeah.
I think this is dope.
Yeah.
And we need to normalize this.
No doubt.
Yeah.
So 21st Century Fatherhood is the name of the organization. This is our sponsored featured podcast, Power Moves.
Yes.
We're celebrating women this month. We're celebrating strong women who are out there doing amazing things.
Yeah.
So if you have a story to tell, please connect with us. We're going to leave our social media. The email is going to be there so that you can connect with us. Ruth, what would you like to leave with the people as we wrap up our interview today?
I would definitely say the things that happen to you don't define you. The things that people did to you also don't define you. A lot of times, like you said, generational trauma is real. And so mama and auntie and all of them continue to pass down that trauma. It's up to us to take, the bull by the horns and change the trajectory of our life from our children and so on.
Yeah.
So continue to keep pushing. Don't give up. And, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Trust me, I know.
Thank you. Thank you.
The things that happen to you don't define you. The things that people did to you also don't define you. A lot of times, like you said, generational trauma is real. And so mama and auntie and all of them continue to pass down that trauma. It's up to us to take, the bull by the horns and change the trajectory of our life from our children and so on.
Yeah.
So continue to keep pushing. Don't give up. And, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Trust me, I know.
Thank you. Thank you.